Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this upload, I will be answering questions about Neville's time manipulation method. But first, my kind thanks to every subscriber. As I see the numbers growing, it really does make me smile. And to every viewer, your support is building the channel too. And I really appreciate all of it. So thank you very much, everyone. I asked online for viewers to submit questions, and I've also read the comments under the previous interval of time upload, and going through the data, I decided not to answer individual questions to keep things concise, easy to follow and digest, and also so as not to leave anyone out. So forthwith, here are the two most frequently asked questions about the interval of time by Neville Goddard, or the most common issues, I suppose, that people have with the idea. And just to mention, if you are interested in reading more about this yourselves, you can find the chapter in the book, Your Faith is Your Fortune by Neville. So the first issue to address is the concept of the appointed hour. You may have come across almost conflicting descriptions of this in Neville's work. Certainly when I first read and listened to what he had to say, the idea that we determined when our manifestations showed up seemed incongruous with the notion of a divinely appointed time for things to show up. Well, the answer is this: all conceptions of the mind of consciousness are immediate facts, but not so in the physical realm. In the physical realm, things take a short time to materialize, and this is the divinely appointed time referenced in the Bible. The easiest example is a baby. When a woman falls pregnant with a baby, this child will be birthed after a certain period of time. That is natural. These are the intervals we have globally reached consensus on and we all accept. That being said, when it comes to the desire part of it, the woman who has wanted children and has had difficulty conceiving can reach the point of conviction relative to that outcome, despite whatever prognosis she has received and all of that. And at the point she does so, she has become a mother. The events along that particular timeline will unfold according to nature, but at the point of conviction, it is done. She's a mother. Okay, it's one timeline from the moment she conceives to the moment she gives birth. It's one timeline. So this is what we're talking about. The point of birth is the natural interval. And you can apply this idea of a gestation period to literally anything. Likewise, if you engaged in some legal matter like buying a home, there's a normal, rational interval for that process to complete. And so when it comes to the interval of time, you being aware of what a normal, rational interval of time is, go ahead in time to that time and decide what the outcome is going to be. Okay, so you go ahead in time, a reasonable amount of time, and set up hearing the news you want, and the event will unfold in a natural way, but at the point of conviction, your life becomes a new expression, which means that when you get to that time that you have selected, you're definitely going to hear, you've guaranteed what will happen. In the meantime, your life will automatically reflect these new facts to you. And that's going to be in the most appropriate way for you. So this is not about making things happen quickly per se. Neither is it about subverting what is natural to you, to all of us, but about assisting you in maintaining the requisite feeling of certainty in order to make an effective impression. So that's not to say that if some outcome threatens an unnecessarily protracted wait time that you don't shorten it, but your rationale for doing so and your expectation must both be reasonable. And when you do this successfully, you will no longer be looking for signs. You'll be functioning within and experiencing what this change in your circumstances has to offer, as though this had been your expression of life all along. Other things that show up, new connections and relationships spring up. You find yourself in new locations, you experience new states of health, new wealth, new status, whatever it is. But remember, the interval of time, the selection of time is reasonable and rational and works in concert with nature, not against it. What you're doing is helping yourself to stay focused helping yourself to maintain the feeling of certainty by determining what happens on a particular day when you get the result that you want. Okay, so to give you an idea of how this works, let's say that you were applying for a job and the closing date for applications and shortlisting was 2 weeks away. You could go ahead, let's say 72 hours after the closing date, and receive news that you had been invited for an interview. Okay, and then you could also go ahead, say 72 hours after that, and hear that the job was yours. So as Neville says, don't shorten the interval because you're anxious to receive whatever it is. Decide what time frame is reasonable and rational. Rational, I mean, works in concert with what's natural, and then you take it from there. So that's the first issue. The second is addressing what it means when the day you've elected comes and nothing has happened. Well, it's essential to know that deciding on a time in which to physicalize your new desire is no substitute for meeting the requirements of consenting to the actualization of a desire in the first place. Choosing when your desire will show up as a physical fact is almost an added layer or a wonderful magical addition to the process. And it really does support those of us prone to fatigue or lapses in concentration, or those of us who function better when we're focused on something specific. So please remember, consenting to a desire is not something you direct with your physical body. It's something you participate in. And this is all a part of the interval of time technique. We can't leave this out. We must absolutely meet the requirements for successful manifestation. We're only deciding when we're going to hear the good news or get whatever it is we want so that we can sustain that feeling of certainty. So when it comes to consenting to a desire, remember, you use your emotional faculties to direct psychological adjustments that bring you into alignment with specific beliefs. In this case, a belief that what you have received is a physical fact. It's true for you. It's absolutely true. And you have no doubt about that. This has nothing to do with drawing things to you. So set aside any idea of some ability to attract things to yourself. If you take this approach, it's bound to fail, because even if you're not consciously aware, you are impressing on consciousness what your physical aspect is experiencing, which when we think about attracting things that we don't currently have and appear outside of the realm of possibility for us, especially when viewed through our human lens of limitation, all we're going to impress is anxiety about trying to make things happen. We can never superimpose our wishes over things that already exist in consciousness, which are our desires. Our desires are things that already exist and that have been given to us. These are what Neville calls the invisible gifts of God. So remember, we are participating, we are consenting to its actualization, and the time interval enables us to retain focus by us going ahead in time, a reasonable amount of time, and determining what the outcome is going to be on that day. That's the kind of thing that really keeps you excited, really keeps you going, keeps your mood high, and really sets you up for success. So to round things up, if you want to use the time interval technique, you must first accept the true nature of your desire, and then you use your emotions to accept them as real, and then progress to when you would like to make the expression your outward reality. Thank you for listening. Please submit any questions below, and until next time, stay phenomenally you.